Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn about function in Python and how we can work with them. I have actually launched my VS Code, which is my text editor that I'm going to use. In your own case, you can use Sublime Text or PyCharm as your text editor, so to follow along. So what I have done here is that I have created a folder. In fact, let me show you on how you can create your own folder to follow along. So all what you need to do is to come to this file tab, then you click it, then you click on open folder. Then you can simply create your folder here. Click on new folder. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to name my own function. Then you can select the folder here. So we have opened a new folder, so that is what we are going to work with. Then the next thing is to create a Python file. So all what we need to do is to come here, then you click on new file. I'm going to name it function.py. So it must end in .py extension. That shows it is a Python file. As you can see, we have opened this new file, so that is where we are going to work. Then we need to understand what function is. A function is a block of organized and reusable code that allows us to perform a task. Then in Python, we use the def keyword to define a function. Let me have a comment here. I can say function in Python. Let's take for instance, I want to display some message or some name. I'm going to use the def keyword to do that by simply saying def, then the name of my function, of whatever I want to name my function. It could be anything, but just make sure it is descriptive to what you want to perform. In my own case, I want to display some name. I can name it name, then I'm going to have my parentheses here, then my colon. Then inside this my function, I can print out my name. I can simply say print Hakeem. Then the next thing that we are going to do is to call out our function to make use of it by simply using the name of my function. I can come here and say name. So let me run my file to see our output. As you can see, we have Hakeem here as our output. So this is basically on how we can work with function. Let me add another thing to here. Let's say I add print John. So let me run it again. Good. As we can see, we have Hakeem and John here as our output. So whatever we want to display inside our function, we can make use of it. In fact, let me add print Python programming. Let me run it again. Good. We have Hakeem, John, and Python programming here as our output. So let us move on to see how we can add two numbers together. I can have a comment here that says addition of two numbers. Then I'm going to create my function by using the def keyword by saying def addition of two numbers. Then I'm going to take in on my parameters, which is x and y. You can name it whatever you want. Then I'm going to perform the operation here inside my function, I can have a variable name called result is equals to x plus y. Then I'm going to say print the addition of the two numbers is, then I can use my result variable here. Then what I'm going to do next is to call out my function by using the name addition of two numbers. Then inside here, I'm going to pass in the argument, which is the number of what I want to add together. I can simply pass 7, then 10 here. So let me run my file. Good, we have the addition of the two numbers is 17. So what I have done here is that this is the name of my function. Then I have my parameters, which is x and y, which is the two numbers I want to add. Then inside this function, I have my variable name, which is the result of where I want to store the two numbers. Then I am printing out the result here. The addition of the two numbers is a type of string. Then I am passing the result here. That is basically what we are doing here. If I change this number to 12, so let me run my Python file again to see our output. We can change the value here, which is our argument. Good, we have the addition of the two numbers is 22. So meaning that we are adding 10 and 12 together. That is 22. So that is how we can make use of our function here. Then we can also use our return statement. Let me have a comment here. I say return statement. Let's take for instance, I want to multiply two numbers together. Then I'm going to have my function here. Let's say def of multiply. Then I'm going to have my parameters, which is a comma b. Then inside this function, I'm going to return the multiplication, which is I can have return a multiply by b. This symbol is a symbol of multiplication in Python, which is this asterisk. Then outside my function, we can store the result here. I can say the result is equals to then the name of my function, which is the multiply. Then I'm going to pass in the arguments here. Let's say I want to multiply 7 and 6. 7 here, then 6. Let me comment this one out. Then I'm going to print out my result. So let me run my file to see what we have actually done. Good, we have 42 here as our output. So basically we are multiplying 7 and 6 together here. What if I change this one to 9? So meaning that we want to multiply 9 and 6 based on the argument we have passed to our function. So let me run my file again. Good, we have 54 here. So that is basically how function works. What if I change this one to let me change this one to 4, then I change this one to 2. So meaning that we are multiplying 4 and 2. Let me run it again. Good, we have 8 here as our output. So that is basically what we are doing. Let me give another example. Let's say I have a function called name, then I'm going to pass in on the parameters. Let's say I have first name, then I have last name as my parameter. Then inside this function, we want to print out our name. I can simply say print my name is, then I'm going to use my parameter, which is the first name. Then I'm going to have, and my last name is, I'm going to have my last name here. So the next thing we are going to do is to call out our function by using the name. Let me comment this one out again. So what I have done here is that this is the name of my function. Then we have first name and the last name as our parameter. Then we are making use of the parameter here inside our function. Then if I run my Python file again, so then let me put my arguments here. Let's say I have Akim, then I have Alimi. So let me run it again. As we can see, we have my name is Akim and my last name is Alimi. So depending on the value we have supplied here, so that is what we are going to use as our output. What if I change this one to John, then I change this my argument here to do. So let me run my Python file again. I can close this one out for us to see. Good, we have my name is John and my last name is Doe. So this is basically on how we can work with function. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.